Hey, everybody. Welcome to Making Connections. This is your girl, Aly. Y'all, why did my computer try to do some updates? I didn't tell it to update. What is it? What was it thinking? So we're running a little behind today. So sorry about that. But you won't be disappointed if you stay tuned. You guys saw all the flyers there going across the screen, different events happening across the Tri-Cities area. And they're usually posted in the Facebook group. So grab soda and wait spatially. Yes, Jonathan. And so that's some guy named Jay. We always appreciate him. He makes great connections for us and with us. And so, and I just wanted to announce, I didn't make the post yet, but we are actually in our 4th year anniversary. May
Bugs out here.
which was Thursday, was our 4th year anniversary. So we're gonna have some exciting stuff coming for you next Saturday. But today we have with us R&B. Hey JT, our R&B singer Nakia. She's been on the show before. You know we love her here. And so Nakia, what's up, girl?
Hey, Allie. I'm glad to actually be back on the show. I know it's been a minute,
Yeah,
but hello to everybody out there.
yeah.
But there's been a lot going on.
You've been doing some stuff, girl. So we get it. And so JT is here too. He says, great day. And so definitely people here to listen to you and find out what's going on in your life. So what's been happening?
So, been obviously hard at work, working on the new album, which is gonna drop soon.
Yes.
Just dropped that new single, Laugh Now, Cry Later, featuring Mikey D from the Main Source. There are gonna be some other surprise guests on the album, and I won't spill it. You'll just have to wait for the album to come out, but there's some good surprises on there. Been working on the new video that's dropping soon. And my team's just been preparing me for tour.
Yes. Awesome. I love it. Listen to that. So we know when you're absent, we know you working, girl.
That
Because
is right.
you wear so many hats. We talked about it before. You're an entrepreneur, you're a songwriter, you perform your songs, you're doing videos, tours. Girl, how do you do it all?
With little sleep, very little sleep.
Oh, but the sleep will come eventually, right?
Hopefully. Hopefully.
So how long have you been working on the album?
I would say a good 5, 6 months. So my process is a little, maybe a little different from others. Right now, I've recorded almost 60 songs.
Oh wow.
So my process, because I could literally drop a bunch of albums right now if I wanted to, but my process is, so when you think you have it together, right? You get all the songs, and then all of a sudden you start thinking of another song, and then you record that song, and then you're like, wait, I think this song will be better on the album. And then you just keep going and going and going. So I still have a couple more songs to record, and then we'll finally make the final decision on what is to go on the album.
Okay. Girl. So did you write all of these?
I did.
Oh wow.
I did.
That's amazing to me. I mean, I tell everybody when they're talking about they're writing a song and they sit down and they hear something. So is that what it's like? Like something just comes in your mind, or maybe you're having a conversation and this thought, or maybe, or is it life situations that prompts most of your music? What is it?
I think it's everything. Sometimes, a lot of times it's life situations. Sometimes it's not. I do sleep with like a pencil and a pad next to my bed, because many, many times I hop up in the middle of the night and I'm dreaming about a song, and I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I have to write this down so I don't forget it. And I'll grab my phone and I'll record it, what the melody. And then a lot of stuff, comes to me that way as well.
Okay. So do you play instruments as well?
I do. I play piano, alto sax, and guitar.
Okay, Nakia. Go ahead. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Jonathan. He said happy show anniversary. So yeah, I was like, oh, Nakia, be good for me to announce the anniversary. Absolutely. I love it. And so, Nakia, 60 songs.
Yes, and counting.
Wow.
You counting.
Wrote 60 songs. Girl, you're impressive to me.
I mean, it does help when you play instruments.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, instruments aren't my thing. Like I'm gonna get on stage and bust out and whatever. I mean, I
Right.
will if I have to, but it's not my thing. It's solely I can play pretty well, but it's solely for for me in my mind, writing purposes and melodies and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. And so then
So it looks like Aly will be back with us in a minute. Um, so of course I have a new single out called "Laugh Now, Cry Later" with Mikey D from the Main Source. That you can go and stream everywhere. If you like R&B, you will love the song. And you can also look me up on my website, www.soundsinakia.com. And obviously, I'm streaming everywhere. I'm sure Aly is somewhere out there and she'll get back in here with us shortly. And take a moment to congratulate her on her anniversary of her show. This is such an amazing platform, an amazing show. And I've been on this platform before. And Aly's an amazing person, and she's doing so many great things. And we're going to play some of my music right now. And me and Aly are going to take a moment to chat while we do that. So right now, you guys are about to listen to my new single, "Laugh Now, Cry Later," in stores everywhere, featuring Mikey D from the Main Source.
Oh, man, who's this? Oh, it's my girl. Yo, my man, hold on for a second. Let me just take this call real quick. Hello? Oh, I missed it. But anyway, what was you saying, G? Ah, man, hold on. Oh, that's her calling back, man. I gotta take this call, man. Just give me like 3 minutes, man. Oh, missed it again. Now she gonna think I'm out here doing something. Man.
I've been checking your G-Wagon all night long. I ain't gotta be here when you get home. You should pack your bags and lay up with that hoe. I'm sick and tired of laying up with this phone. You know we go way back, yeah. To the back of the lack, boy. How you gonna do me like that? The love you gave, you know it was
like I'm all that. Here's a small fact, I was doing something, I was busy, I was occupied, couldn't call back. 2 bands on the nightstand, and you know just where the mall's at. So do yourself a favor and breathe. Fall back, gotta chase that money, honey. Come home and taste that yummy. Everything was great and sunny. Now you wanna go and take that from me? The slow hitter, the flow spitter, the omitter, a go-getter. So I figure I better go get her.
You're laughing now, but you'll cry later. Hate your ass, won't do you a favor. Your stupid ass gonna rip these papers. I'm crying now, but I'll laugh later. You're laughing now, but you'll cry later. Hate your ass, won't do you a favor. Your stupid ass gonna rip these papers. I'm crying now, but I'll laugh later.
Forwarded to an automatic voice message system. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, baby, it's me. Sorry it took me so long to call you back. I was just running around taking care of all of this paperwork, you know, contracts, this music stuff. You know how it goes. But anyway, I love you. See you when I get home.
Hey, welcome back. I'm back. Thank you, Nakia, for taking over. Good job, good
You're
job.
welcome.
I love that song. Laugh, cry now, but laugh later, right?
Laugh now, cry later.
Laugh now, cry later.
Right, right.
So tell me more about that song. What inspired that?
So, to be honest, I was in the studio. The song wasn't supposed to be what it was. It was a completely different song. I'm in the studio recording. I'm in the booth. I'm laying down the song. I get a call from one of my really, really good friends. So I'm like, hold on, time out. I have to talk to her because she was really upset. So I, went to speak to her, and she was having some troubles with her husband. And I got so mad because of what he did to her that I went back into the booth, and I'm like, scratch this song. I'm like, we got another song. So I ended up laying this song down. I laid it down in probably about an hour. And the premise behind the song is, sometimes when people do things, they think it's funny at the moment, or they think they won something. But then in the end, they find out the grass isn't green on the other side. So later they're the ones that end up crying. So I'm like, so basically, like, I might be crying now because you hurt me, but in the long run, you hurt yourself. So you're going to cry later.
Very true. And that's so true. You're laughing now. You think, like you said, you got over on somebody. You think did what you did and got away with it. But hey, somebody's eyes are always watching. Somebody's ears are
That's
always
true.
open. And so then, like you said, and I mean, people always talk about the grass being greener on the other side, but I love the quote that I heard, well, water your own grass. Because when you're putting water on your own grass, it becomes as green as the other side, right?
Exactly.
So you were inspired. You put that down in 1 hour. I like that.
I did.
So I think we were talking a little bit about, I don't know if you heard my question or maybe you continued and you gave the answer, but when you get that thought, and when you've written it down when you're at home and now you're ready to put it together. So what does that look like when you're bringing your team together? Like, do you put music? You just bring everybody together? How does that work?
So we kind of all come together and we like brainstorm. And then sometimes songs don't end up being what they're going to be. You sit down, you brainstorm, you start kind of writing the music together, going over the song. And, it just kind of blossoms, into something. I'm a really organic writer, though. So, like, I like my whole team to be in the studio. A lot of my music is recorded live. So it's not so much tracking on the computer. It's a lot of live instrumentation. So I like everybody to kind of come together. And then that's how, because the creativity in the room is so crazy. Like when you're in there with live instruments and everybody's writing and throwing ideas back and forth. So it's crazy, but it always turns out to something great.
Oh, wow. Do you have footage of that? You need to put some footage of that, how that works. So what's it like when you get ready to do your videos? Like, is this all your production team or how does that work?
So I'm really funny, right? When it comes to shooting videos. Um, there's two directors that I work with a lot because they kind of know me and we vibe well together. But it's crazy though doing the video because everybody's on set, actors, director, the photographer, the makeup artist, the designer. Like I mean, it's crazy. But the process is it's a really good process. It's almost like shooting a movie or like writing a script for a movie. So we always, obviously storyboard, map things out. And then, you know, there's for some reason in my shoots, there's always hiccups. I don't know why. Nothing ever goes as planned. You know,
Can't
sometimes,
imagine.
yeah, like sometimes a scene is kind of written out one way and then it ends up being something else because something happens. Sometimes when I'm on set, like the outfits will be laid out and then I'll break a heel and something happens. So we're like, okay, we can't do that outfit. We can't do that shoot. Now we got to switch it to something else. So, but the process is really crazy, but it's a great process though. Always get something great in the end.
Oh wow. And that kind of makes it exciting too, because you're like, oh gosh, what happens? What do we do now? And because you imagine all this stuff going on in the background, and it really
Right.
is, and it's so amazing. Like just being a little bit involved in theater is like, I mean, right up until the end. When you say go, everybody's running around and we're making changes and flipping stuff on the videos and the cameras. Is so crazy, but to the audience, all they see is the stage and then the great performance.
Right. They don't see everything else. And like you said, the theatrics that, go behind things and stuff like that. And the process of like picking who's going to be in the video and auditioning people and who's playing what role. Like they don't see all of that. They just see the
Yeah,
end product.
and the different takes, and so it really is a production to see. I think anybody who's got anybody in their life that they can go and watch a production like that, they need to see that behind the scenes stuff because it really is kind of exciting. And it's what makes it come together, because then when you see the final version and, maybe you and the crew are together, you're like, remember what was happening right here? You see why we did this and da 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 da. So that's
Well, you
cool.
literally have to do, I mean, I do anyway. We film probably about 21 hours of footage. And it's a process because you're sifting through all of this footage and you're working from sun up to sundown to create only like 3 or 4 minutes worth of footage. And
Hmm.
it's like you did all the stressful stuff, 21 hours of filming and everything. And it's like, okay, now only 4 minutes. Okay.
Right. It's kind of the same scenario with a wedding. You do all this planning, you
Hmm.
have so many meetings with this person, with the caterer, with the venue, picking a dress, getting together with the girls, the guys, all these different parties. And then the day of, it's like, in an hour, okay, we're married. That was
Right.
it.
Right.
Let's eat and everybody go to sleep because everybody, like
Right.
you said, had very
Exactly.
little sleep.
Exactly.
Awesome, awesome. So I heard you say something about a tour. Are you coming to our area?
So we are mapping the tour out now. I do know for certain we are going to hit some cities in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Atlanta, Los Angeles, Vegas. Just trying to think. Miami, we're going to hit some stuff. We're going to be everywhere. Jersey. So it's being mapped out. It's a pretty large tour, but I'm definitely going to hit a lot of the areas down south this time.
Good, good, because I'm gonna answer for me, JT, and some guy named Jay. We expect to see you in the area close by where we can come visit.
You will definitely see me in the area.
All right, all right. I'm excited about that. And so, what are some of the so I know you still are writing. So do you have like a estimated idea of when the album might drop, or you just kind of just taking your time with it?
So we're thinking we're gearing up for September at some point.
Okay, cool, awesome. So not long, you guys. So you got to go follow Nakia so you make sure you know when the album drops and make sure you know when she's touring because if she is in an area even close to you, 2 hours away, it'll be worth the drive. I promise.
It will. It definitely will.
And I'm excited to see who these surprises are. So, you gotta be in the building because Nakia is, hey, she knows a lot of people and knows a lot of things. And so, even when you're gearing up like for your tour and your performances and things like that, what does that take out of you? I mean, I watch people on stage and I'm just like, whew, they gotta be tired.
Yeah, so there's a lot of in the process when you're preparing for a tour, right? So it's not only just getting the vocals together and not the rehearsing, it's the physicality of it. It's like the mental, the spiritual, like everything together, right? So I rehearse currently about 5 times a week. I do meet with my personal trainer 4 times a week, right? So we got to get the physical together and get ready to be running across, stages and stuff like that, so you don't lose your breath and fall out.
Right.
Every day, vocal warm-ups, vocal practicing, and then a lot of meditation, right? So it takes a lot to get on a stage in front of thousands and thousands of people, right? Not when I say a lot, I don't mean like not scared. I've been doing this all my life, so it's not the scare piece. It's not that, but
Right.
it's that if anyone's ever been on a stage, whether no matter if there's one person in the audience, 1,000, 3,000, 10,000, there's like this momentum. There's this feeling that you can't explain, right? Um, and it's just crazy, like the vibe in the room, the persona when everybody's like screaming, they want you to come out, and you're just bringing the audience in, and you're essentially controlling the audience, right, with what you're doing. And there's just this amazing feeling when you're able to do that and share something with other people. So especially when that gift that you're sharing makes them, think about things or feel better about themselves, or, understand something a little more, or have like a little bit more self-worth, or, it just gives them something. That feeling is like unbelievable.
Mm. Right, right. And just like in your song, when you're saying, you're laughing now, but you'll cry later. And even with her, I'm laughing now, but I'll cry later. You're like, okay, this is going on right now, and it seems like everybody's laughing at me, but you know what? It's gonna be okay because they're gonna find out in the end what the truth really is. So, they're going to be regretting how they treated me, So I'm going to keep my chin up. I'm going to, keep going because there's more life to live. And, just the things that you're singing about. And that song, music is so inspirational. I can honestly say whenever I'm going through something and I feel like even when I can't talk to somebody, it's like the Lord will drop a song on the radio and it'll be like, yeah, girl, I know it, right? Oh yeah, we're gonna come back, whatever it is, or just that somebody's thinking about you or somebody's praying for you or whatever it is, it's always uplifting. Or even the beat will get you, you just start jamming and then you feel lighter because that movement, right? Because you're moving that stress
Absolutely.
out. So I love it. Yeah. So how long have you been doing this?
Oh my, long time, right? So I won't date myself,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I've been singing since I was 3. Been singing professionally since I was 13.
Oh wow.
So I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. And so did you ever have you ever done a song with your uncle?
I've done background vocals for him on a lot of stuff. As far as doing a duet, it's something that's in the works.
See, excitement. I told y'all. Okay, well, I definitely want to know when that happens, that drops, because I think that'll be fire. Awesome. So, like, when you see your uncle go on performances and do things, was that kind of an inspiration to you, or was it just, are you just all a musical family and it just comes natural?
So there's 2 parts to that. So it does definitely come natural. There's a lot of musical people in my family, but it was definitely inspirational to be on stage with him at times, and to watch from backstage when I wasn't even old enough to get on stage, or be in the studio with him while he's recording. I mean, he's an amazing artist, and his performing is phenomenal. It's outstanding. And I always like to say, from his time era, like when he was with the Gap Band and stuff like that, the bands that were out then, they just had a different level of performance than the artists, that are out now do.
Mhm.
And it's amazing You know, people from that era, artists from that era, when they come to put on a show, they come to put on a show.
Didn't
Right? It's not, they're not just standing there and, oh, you know, this is what it is. No, they come to put on a show. And that's exactly where my performance inspiration comes from watching him on the stage, because when I come, I come to slay. Like I'm not coming to play. We're not going to leave no crumbs on the table.
You're going to know you came to a concert, right?
Exactly. You're going to know I've been there.
I love it. I love it. And you know, that is, you know, fun because it's the whole, like you said, aspect of it. It's the lighting, it's the movement, you know, and that's why I say, I'm like, are they singing? How can they be doing all this stuff and holding these notes and running across the stage? It's amazing. It really is.
That's where the workout comes from. So like when I meet with my trainer and we kind of work out, I sing at the same time while I'm working out, because you got to build up that stamina. You got to be able to get those notes out while you're doing other things at the same time.
Okay. Cool. I love it. This is just, I love when the kid comes on the show. She just brings such an energy. You know, and you're always smiling, you know, and you're just like down to earth. I mean, you are an amazing artist. You know, you are global. But when you come on the show, you know, just like, hey, this is what happened. This is what we do. And so I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So what exactly, like, you know, what else do you do besides write songs? Because I know you're an entrepreneur, all this. What else do you do?
So
you're a mom too, right?
Excuse me?
You're a mom too, correct?
Yes, I am. All day, every day. That never stops.
So tell us a little bit about that. Like, how do your kids feel, you know, when you go on tour and things like that?
So they actually come with me a lot. They come with me in the studio. I like to expose them to a lot of different worldly things. I want them, you know, to have an understanding of the world and not be, you know, so sheltered to where if something was to happen, they don't know how to handle it. Right. And it's a lot of life lessons for them as well. So I don't think balancing it's not a struggle to balance. You just, you know, you do what you got to do. Right. I mean, women are amazing people. We wear a million hats and we still get up every day and we still keep going no matter how tired we are, because you can't stop.
Right.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it's amazing, and it'll always be amazing. It'll continue to be amazing. So nothing terrible there.
Yeah.
I am in the process of filming in an independent movie. That'll be coming out soon. But I won't leak the information on that because I'm not able to. But you guys will see it. And there's some amazing actors, well-known amazing actors and actresses alongside me in this particular independent film. That'll be coming out. I am in the process of writing a book. People always ask me, like, where do you find the time to sit down and write? Like, it's really much like writing a song or much like writing poetry. You just, it comes to you, you just write.
Cool. See, the Lord have mercy. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be good. So is it like just kind of like telling your story, or is it like a how-to, you know, in the
So
music?
it's more like a guide, right? For younger artists or artists that are breaking into the business. And it's kind of like a guide for them to things that people won't tell you. Right. So things that you should know and need to know while you're, you know, making your journey through this business.
Wow. And that's important because, you know, I think a lot of times because you don't know. And so when somebody comes to you and they say, oh, I'm looking out for you. I want to take you on the road. I want to do all this, you know, because you don't know and because you're new, you really don't know what to look for. And, you know, they say, well, we got you booked here. So what would you tell them? You know, I know it's all going to be in the book, but even that, like, what should they look for? Like contracts, you know, percentages of who gets what should they look for?
Well, you definitely, when you're in terms of songwriting and creating with producers and other writers, you definitely want to make sure the percentages are correct. You certainly want to make sure you read that whole contract to understand what you're getting into, and always understand that there is room for negotiation. Nothing is in stone, right? And you don't have to just accept anything. And sometimes you might lose a couple of contracts, but if they're not right for you, they're not right for you. Don't get yourself locked into something that you can't get out of and it doesn't benefit you, right? You definitely want to look at points. Who's getting what points? I always like to use as an example, if everyone kind of thinks back to the situation Tony Braxton was in with that Secrets album, right? So millions and millions of albums sold, but because nobody was paying attention, let's just say, for example, I don't remember how much it was selling for, but just as an example, let's just say the album was selling for $13, a copy, right? And back then we know CDs and, tapes were in. People were going out and they were buying them. It wasn't so much streaming. So let's just say someone goes out, they buy the album for $13. Out of that whole $13, the money has to be split certain ways. But she only ended up getting like 2 pennies from $13 off each album, right? And by the time she realized it, she's lost all that money. And we all know that album was like her best-selling album and it sold so many copies. So think about that. If you just do the math in your head, let's just say $13 times a million. That's a lot of money, right? But out of that million, if you only got 2 pennies, 2 cents off each one, so Ellie Reed, Babyface, whoever, let's just say they made, out of that $1 million, they made 900,000 of it, and she made 100,000 of it. So while they're, living large, she's filing bankruptcy, right? So it's things like that you have to look out for and you have to watch.
Exactly. She filed bankruptcy, and like you said, and I mean, she was the one in there recording. I mean, I know everybody, takes their part, but when you're the one who's singing the music and performing and people are coming to see you, all of that stuff. And like Nakia said, which is a very good point, you might have to just say no. You might have to just walk away from that contract, because I think in the past it has been a lot of peer pressure. Like, well, you better take this because you won't get another opportunity. You're new, da 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 da. Hey, stand your ground. Make sure you're taken care of, because you are the artist. You're the one bringing these songs to life. So make sure you're good. Make sure you have an accountant and check on your accountant. Don't just think that they're taking care of your money and putting everything in the right place. Honey, you have to watch everything. At some point in time, take a break, talk to the accountant, look at the books, look at these contracts, have a couple lawyers look over the contract, right? I mean, because sometimes even those contracts, some things may not be, you think you understand, but then there's some other lines down there that lead back to that one that you might have missed. So it's good to have somebody else look over these contracts, right?
Absolutely. And you also have to watch things in contracts like a 5-year, we're going to give you an upfront signing bonus of, let's just hypothetically say $50,000. And this contract is going to be for 5 years, but you have to give us 5 albums in that 5 years, right? You have to remember that $50,000 that they gave you is not just pocket money. That's what they expect you to record those 5 albums from. Right. And then you have to pay that money back. An upfront signing bonus doesn't mean, this is your money to pocket. Like, so you have to pay attention to that. And that's why a lot of people get tied up in record labels. They sign bad deals and now they're stuck because you know what? Hey, I'm not letting you out of this deal until you pay me back my $50,000 or my $1 million that I gave you. And if those album sales don't equate to make that money back, now you're stuck.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's major. That's real life. It's happening out there. Yeah. So don't just take anybody's word for it. Reach out to some people that have been in the business for a long time, who have equity in this business, who have integrity. There are people out there. There's people who try to get over, but if you keep doing the research, if you keep grinding, you'll find those people, right, Nakia?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you do have to be careful because it's so easy now. For someone to tell you anything and to take your money and say, hey, pay me, give me $50,000 and I'm going to make you famous. And you give this person $50,000. You don't check out who it is. You're just taking in what they're saying to you. And you're so excited. You go and come up with this money, give it to them, and then they're nowhere to be found. Exactly. So you got to be careful. You got to pay attention.
Yeah. And so like, is it a big investment in the beginning? Do a lot of people ask for investments like that to take you to the next level?
So it depends. everyone has to invest in themselves in some kind of way, right? So being an artist is like opening a business. So when you go out and you open a business, no one's just going to come and say, here's money to go open a business and not expect anything in return. Even if you have to take out a loan from the bank, you still have to pay that money back, right? So everything is contingent on really yourself. You can be what you want to be, if you make yourself, be that. It's a lot of hard work. It's not easy, and it's extremely stressful, right? So you have to be willing to put in the time. And it might not happen overnight. It might not happen a year from now. It might not happen in 5 years, in 10 years. But you also have to remember, all it takes is that one good hit that's going to put you where you want to be. So it's a lot of work. It's like owning a business. When you're an artist, you are a business, and you still have to file taxes as a business. Like, you still have to do all of these things.
Right. Awesome. And like you said, I think you have to realize, because a lot of times, even like all we see your glamour, right? We see people are asking you for autographs, and we see you touring around and things like that, and we think that's all there is to it, but it's so much more behind the scenes. And again, if you're not watching all these things, if you're not staying accountable, we see so many people make it big, but they have no money. They end up poor. They end up on the streets again, and you're like, wow, what happened?
That's why, as an artist, you have to ask yourself, am I doing this because I want to be famous, or am I doing this because I want to make money, or am I doing this because I love it? Right? So anything that you love shouldn't be hard to stay in, right? And when you love doing what you're doing, the money's gonna come. You're gonna make the money, and you're gonna not have to do it because, I need this money. You're doing it for the love of it, and the money will come.
Right.
You just have to be smart. You have to have a plan. You can't just wake up and be like, all right, I'm going to go out here and I'm just going to do all these talent shows and someone's going to discover me. It doesn't work that way. You have to sit down and map it out and have a plan, because it's a business and you're trying to get from A to Z. And you need to have a plan on how you're going to get from A to Z. And remember that there's, in between A and Z, there's B, C, D, E, F, G, and everything else, right? There's roadblocks, and you're going to stumble, and there's going to be thousands of people that are going to tell you no. But there is going to be that one person that's going to tell you yes. And when that one person tells you yes, it'll be like history. You won't know what happened. You'll be bigger than ever. But you just have to realize and prepare yourself mentally for that, because there's going to be a lot of doors shut in your face, right? I had lots of doors shut in my face, right? It doesn't mean that you're less than. It doesn't mean that you're not capable. It just means you weren't right for that situation, right? And what they say, when one door closes, God always opens another one. And sometimes the door that closed in your face might have been a bad door to go in. So that's why you didn't go in that door.
And and that's such good advice, because even when it happened to you the first time, what did it make you feel like?
So I was pretty young when I got my first no. So I moped around for a little bit. I probably cried a little bit. And then, my mom and my dad and my uncle, they're all supportive. They're like, you know what, brush yourself off, stop crying. You're a big girl, get up and try it again. So that's what I did. I got up and I tried it again. I got a few more no's, and then I finally got that one yes that kind of put me where I needed to be. Yeah. So, it doesn't mean, I think sometimes people take things too personally, right? When someone says no to you, that doesn't mean that you stop, right? I think God designs things a certain way. He designs people saying no for a reason, right? And it could be a blessing or a lesson. You just have to figure out which one it is.
Right. And that's true too, because sometimes you, as an artist, you might be great. You might have mad talent, but the person you want to work with sees that you're not mentally in the space yet to handle it. So sometimes that no is literally saving your life, because you're not ready to go on tour back.
Exactly.
People always grabbing at you and in your face and in your business. That's major. Like she said, that mental aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. And social media is crazy. Just know that, right? You gotta stay off social media reading things. I always say that to people, right?
Yeah,
Because
honey.
somebody will read something, somebody that just absolutely does not know you will try to chop you down the worst on social media. And sometimes people read that and they take it personal. And you can't take those type of things personal, because at the end of the day, this person doesn't know you. This is just a platform for people to write any and everything that they want to write. Uh,
Right.
and again, if you are mentally and spiritually right within yourself, it doesn't matter what anybody's posting or what they're saying.
Right.
Right. Like I've had, even to this day, like I've had someone say to me like, "Oh, you're fat. You shouldn't be doing this." And I said, "Well, thank you. Thank you so much, because that's what makes me me."
Thank you.
Right. So
Exactly.
we're not in those times where everybody has to be a stick figure and everyone, you're not beautiful if you're not a size 0. Like
Right. And
everyone is who they are. Like if we had a bunch of sticks walking around, there'd be fire sparking everywhere. Like, you know.
that doesn't mean you're unhealthy because you're thick either.
Exactly.
That misconception. So
Exactly.
this woman is working out 4 times a week. How many times are you working
Exactly.
out?
Exactly.
And so, I did want to kind of hit on that because May is, mental illness awareness month. And so that mental part of being in this industry, whew, what do you do to make sure you stay centered, and what would you advise other people, like if they're starting to feel the stress and they're just, instead of holding it in, what would you suggest they do?
So for me, it's a lot of meditation, right? Everyone has their own thing of how they deal with stuff. Um, I would say to find other ways to kind of center yourself. And one of the things that I have done over the last year, anything that affects my mental stability, whether it's a person, a thing, doesn't matter what it is, you got to cut it off, right? Because you can't have things in your life that are disrupting your mental. So if you disrupt my mental, then you have to go. I mean, and really that's, the best thing in how you stay centered. I mean, I spoke at 2 weeks ago, I was a guest on a panel for speaking about women in mental health. And a lot of women don't know they have mental health challenges, right? Or sometimes when you get overloaded by small things and you kind of have like a spaz out, they don't realize that there is a mental health issue
Right,
challenge going on. So if
right,
you do feel that way, though, you probably should. If you start seeing the signs of different things, start getting angry easier, a lot of rage, um, forgetting things, getting really upset, you probably should, speak to a professional just to make sure, that you stay centered, especially if you have kids, because you don't want to have those mental health challenges affecting, your children and what you're doing for them and, how things are going.
right. And that's a good point because, like you said, they're always watching. And a
Hmm.
lot of times they're going to react the way you react. They're going to
Exactly.
use the language and everything that you use. And so it's okay to talk to somebody. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean, I know like there's this stigma, like people always think like, oh, if I'm talking to a therapist or like a counselor or a psychiatrist, I'm crazy. That's not necessarily, it doesn't mean you're crazy,
Right.
right? Everybody always needs someone, to talk to.
Exactly. But if you keep going in the way you're going, you might flip over to the other side because you can't handle it. And it's okay.
Absolutely.
And I just think, sometimes it's a season. Sometimes some of us will need to talk to them for the rest of our lives. Sometimes it's just a season you need to get through.
Yeah.
You're dealing with a lot of pressure. You're dealing with maybe grief or something like that. And maybe somebody had passed away or something and you never dealt with it because you had to deal with them dying. You had to deal with the bills. You had to deal with, closing their house up, whatever it is. So sometimes you don't give yourself time to grieve. So whatever it is, I'm a big, advocate of talking to somebody, even if they prescribe you a medication for the moment, take that medication to, get through this, get through what you're going through. That doesn't mean you have to take it always, but if you do nothing, where will you be, Nakia?
Crazy. Somewhere acting out, you know.
Somewhere sick in the hospital,
Hmm.
something, because it's going to take a toll on your body. It's going to
Absolutely.
take a toll on your mental health. And really, a lot of times they say when you just have a lot of things going on, you're really stressed, it kind of mimics dementia. So a lot of people be like, oh, I think I got dementia, but it may not be that. It's just you got too many things going on. Your mind can't calculate because you never followed through really with one thought before you're jumping on another thought. And so,
Exactly.
and mental health, is, and maybe you have a mental health issue. You have bipolarism or whatever it is, still okay. You're still a good person. You still have value. You still are an intelligent person. You still can function, right? You can still be a mom
Exactly.
and do what you need to do, right?
Exactly.
So tell them, Nakia, look, we got to get help. We got to talk to, you better find you a sister or something, Nakia, a pastor, somebody, that you can talk to, right?
I mean, I think so many times, even with everything, not only with mental health, right? So people keep going. Your body gives you signs, and sometimes people ignore the signs,
Yeah,
and they'll just keep ignoring them and keep going, going, and going until they really have a breakdown. And then now something that you could have caught sooner and helped yourself, now it's so far along, maybe you can't help yourself. So if you are feeling the signs of anything, you should definitely immediately, explore, your options.
true. So true. Find out what's going on so that you can nip it in the bud so you can take, because a lot of things, like you said, really when you're caught, when it's caught early, even breast cancer and things like that nowadays,
Exactly.
when you catch it early enough, you can still prolong your life. You can have better life. So that's what we're talking about. Walking in your purpose, but walking in it well. Enjoying the journey.
Exactly.
And there can be some hard days, some tough days, and we all have them. You're not by yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so even that social media point that you made, I mean, I know a lot of people take the social media to get their feelings out. But you have to know once you put yourself out there, you put yourself out there. And
This is
people
true.
are and people are going to say what they want to say. You can be offering something for free, and somebody's going to say something about it. I was reading something. They were offering some kind of free webinar, and people were just like, well, it didn't talk about this. Well, I didn't get the recording yet. I mean, it was just like so negative. And I'm like, y'all are a trip. Get what you get out of
Hmm.
the webinar. If it's not for you, maybe that wasn't the webinar for you. Maybe
Exactly.
they didn't address what you needed. It's fine. They addressed it what somebody needed, right?
Exactly.
So Nakia, I just want to, find out what else is going on. What else? Maybe I missed something that you got going on that you want to tell the family about.
No, I think we got everything. I didn't miss anything. And of course I'm gonna keep you updated as things
Mhm.
transpire, and everybody will get updated too.
Yes. So when she launches the tour, when she sets those dates, we're definitely going to put the. So where can they follow you, like a website and all that kind of stuff, so they'll
So
know?
yeah, you can go to my website www.tanzanikia.com. Obviously, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all my links are on Facebook. So yeah, you guys can go follow me there and check out the music. All the links are up there.
Okay. And I was going to say too, where did they find your music? You're on
So
all
it's
platforms, right?
we're everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music.
Music.
We're
Okay.
everywhere.
Awesome. Awesome. So we're going to take a quick break. We're gonna we're gonna do our CTA real quick, and we're gonna come back. And when we come back, I just want you to give like your last words of encouragement or piece of advice or what have you, and we'll be right back. Is that good?
That's good.
So you guys stay tuned. We've been talking to Nakia. She is an R&B singer. She is amazing. She has got a book. In case you're just joining, she's had a book that she's in the process of writing. She's in the process of, in the production of a movie, and so, and dropping an album. So we heard one of her singles that she just dropped, "Laugh Now, Cry Later." So if y'all missed it, hit rewind because you want to hear that. And so we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more with Nakia.
Thank you for being such a wonderful listening audience, whether you were listening live or on the replay. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, Making Connections with Aly and Shay, so that you can get notified every time we go live. Do you have a burning message to share with the audience? Contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com with your topic idea and your message to be booked on the show. And if you're an inspirational speaker or a motivator or simply seeking a platform to share your message, contact Miss Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime right here on the Making Connections Network. Again, contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime, your own radio show right here on the Making Connections Network.
Hey, everybody. So, yes, we are here. This, I mentioned it before, this is our 4th year anniversary. It was actually on the 12th. We started Mother's Day weekend, 2018. I was talking to Alan before the show, and I was like, at the time, I didn't know we would make 4 months, but here we are. And so I'm really excited that we can have Nakia with us for this pre-anniversary show, because we're going to do the anniversary show next week, air it next week. But I'm excited about Nakia being with us. We love her here, like I said, on the show. She's doing amazing things, and she's level-headed. I mean, she's an artist who takes everything in consideration. Like you heard, she's a wife, she's a mother, she's an artist, she's a producer, a songwriter. She's doing it all. And so any woman out there listening, any man even, whoever you are, don't think you can't handle it. You just have to take one. I've heard Nakia say this before. You have to take one project at a time. Not necessarily just one project, but you have to make time for this project and make time for this one. You can't kind of do it all at the same time because you drive yourself crazy, right, Nakia?
Absolutely.
And so even before you tell, your last words of encouragement or whatever, talk about that, because a lot of times that's what we are. We think we have to do everything in one day. So give us some advice on that and how that's been working for you.
So one thing that you have to do, especially when you have a lot going on, you got to prioritize. You have to plan, right? Planning helps you with not failing, right? Because you want to succeed. Take things one day at a time. Things are going to happen. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a setback. It just means you regroup and gather your thoughts, and you just keep, going at it. So, my best advice for people is to take things one day at a time, no matter what field you're in, what your dreams are, what your hopes are. And, a dream is just a dream if you just write it down on paper without action, right? So if you write down, your dreams and your inspirations, that's great. But then start that second phase, that planning phase of how are we going to put this into action, right? For me, I think the best advice that I could give to anybody is don't leave the earth without making your mark, right? And don't leave being just a past thought, right? You want to do something great so people always remember, who you are. You want your legacy to live on well past you, well through your kids, through your grandkids, your great grandkids. So just make sure whatever it is that you want to do, you make sure you do everything you can to accomplish that, because you definitely want to leave a legacy here when you leave.
Absolutely. And, take it from the kid, sometimes you have to incorporate your children. You find a way to bring your family with you. You don't leave them behind because they're an important aspect, and you always want them to look up to you. You always want them to know, because a lot of times, in the past we say, well, we did this for you, we da da. But when they felt the absence, what you did make a difference to them.
It's better to say we did this together, not we did this for you.
Yeah. See why we love having her on the show. Absolutely. So, Nakia, tell them again how they can follow you, give them your website.
www.soundsandnakia.com. And of course, you can find me on every social media platform. You just Google Nakia, I'll pop up. I'll be right there. And the music streaming everywhere: Spotify, iTunes, Prime Music. So just Google it. I'm there.
She's there. You will find her. And I'm telling you, they're putting the tour dates together. If you can get there. It will be well worth the drive, the ticket, the fly, whatever it is, to see Nakia in action. And she said she's got some surprises for you during these concerts. So make sure you make it there. So, Nakia, we appreciate you. You're always welcome. We definitely want you to come back after the movie is released so we can talk about that.
Absolutely.
And then when the tour dates, hit, so we can talk about and tell people where you're going to be at. So definitely want you to, stay in contact with you. So, because we're definitely going to be advertising what you got going on because we support you.
Thank you. I support you guys too, all the way.
Always. I love it. So you guys know we are making connections with Aly. We're here every Saturday at 12 noon and every Monday at 2 p.m. We are going to be celebrating our 4-year anniversary next Saturday. So excited about that. And so, just talking a little bit about our journey and what it was like. And like I said, thinking we wouldn't even have it 4 months, and here we are 4 years later. So you guys stay tuned. Make sure you go to our Facebook page, Instagram, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live and when we post stuff about Nakia and our other amazing guests that are doing amazing things. So we love you and appreciate you. Congratulations, Nakia.
Thank you.
Everyone, make sure that you share this video, and also that mental health awareness. Be aware of where you are. But like Nakia said, whether it's a sickness in your body, whether it's a confusion in the mind, whatever it is, take note of it and find out what's going on. Get to the root of it so that you can get over it. Because we want you to live your best life. We want you to be able to leave that legacy. So make sure you take care of yourself because you're important to more people than you know. So Nakia, we love you. And to our family, until next time, love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a good day.
Goodbye.
Bye.